What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined as always by my dad, Sean, and today reactions to the classics. We got a top 10 list of the Moody Blues, courtesy of a suggestion and submission from our patron friend, big-time supporter of the channel, Rich. Rich, you've done a ton of these top 10 lists for us,
They're all great.
And I'm looking forward to diving into this because I don't really know too much about the Moody Blues,
I don't either.
man.
I only know like two of their songs.
Yeah, and so this is going to be a nice new experience for us here. Before we get into some of the quick facts of the group and dive into the list, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that big red subscribe button, and if you would like to have us maybe do a top 10 list for you, you can check out our Patreon page down below. Be sure to follow us on Twitch as well. And last little bit of housekeeping, the music will not be in the YouTube video, but if you want to listen along with us, there will be a link down below to where you can check that out on another site. But all that to say, Dad, I guess let's get into some of the quick facts here.
Let's do it. Rich said that the Moody Blues were part of the 60s British invasion. They were a hybrid of progressive / psychedelic / pop rock with elements of classical music thrown in, a truly unique sound with catchy hooks and lush melodies. They were able to sustain chart success into the 70s and 80s. And just in my research, the band underwent some lineup changes over the years, like several incarnations, but they all had success. Sold over 70 million albums worldwide, which you find a lot with these older groups. You know, no one's ever going to touch these album sales now the way music is consumed, but it includes 18 platinum LPs and gold LPs. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just a couple years ago at the time of this film in 2018.
Yeah, very impressive. I know that a lot of people, whenever that was going on, were thinking, hey man, these guys should have been in a long time much before. Well, let's dive into this with number 10. We got the track Go Now from 1965. This is actually a cover first recorded by Bessie Banks in January of '64.
Yeah, Go Now, adding that exclamation point, was made popular internationally when the Moody Blues recorded it with Denny Lane on guitar and lead vocals. When Denny Lane first heard Bessie Banks' version, he immediately told the rest of the band they needed to record the song #1 in the UK, number 10 in the US, and that's how it was back then, Trey. We talk about it a lot of times on the show in the 60s. Like, I love that song. I'm going to record it too. Nowadays, no one would dream of that, but in contrast to the other songs from their debut album, which is the magnificent Moody's, Go Now contained many early elements of what later would become progressive rock, such as the lush instrumentation, the innovative variations of the 50s progression, as well as strong Baroque elements that would later become hallmarks of progressive rock.
All right, man. At the time the single was released, it was being promoted on TV with one of the first purpose-made promotional films in the pop era. So
awesome.
That's awesome as well. As always, going to have the lyrics pulled up and just enjoy this track, man. So thank you again to Rich.
Thanks, Rich. Always, brother.
Let's get going. All right, Go Now, number 10 on the list, starting us off with that early Moody Blues type of sound. Different than what I kind of expected, but I guess everything we read with it being earlier and a cover.
Yeah, no, I think it's the with the 50s and the psychedelic kind of did sum it up. It's kind of this little hybrid. So thought it was really good, man. Really enjoyed it.
And, you know, I thought keyboard was nice work. The way it was mixed, definitely, I think that was a good point to add. Definitely kind of gave it that throwback feel to it.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the original version. I'd like to go back and listen to Bessie's version just to see kind of the differences. But you can already kind of tell I enjoyed the melodies. Good tune to start us off. Short, to the point, catchy. Now we're going to go to Legend of a Mind from the record In Search of the Lost Chord from 1968. This is actually the first song recorded for the record, written by the band's flutist and part-time vocalist Ray Thomas, who is on lead vocals here.
The song's lyrics are about 1960s LSD icon Timothy Leary. He was an advocate for the use of LSD, enjoying its spiritual benefits, with one of his catchphrases being, "Turn on, tune in, drop out." It's best known for its opening lines, "Timothy Leary's dead. No, he's outside looking in," which allude to Leary's use of Eastern mysticism, most notably the Tibetan Book of the Dead, to frame the psychedelic experience. And if you don't know anything about Timothy Leary, I mean, obviously he had some big influence over the Beatles as well. But if you don't know anything about him, just go give his wiki a read, because he is an interesting cat. First one to kind of promote LSD while it was still legal. He did a study in Harvard. Saw the inside of 36 different prisons, and that's just a little... Richard Nixon once called him the most dangerous man in America, so that's just a little thing. Entertain yourself and go check that out. Also, obviously, a big influence here on the Moody Blues.
This is kind of more what I expected with the Moody Blues,
Me too, and you mentioned during it had a Kinks type feel. I thought the start of it had a Beatles type feel, of that era.
No, definitely, man. Definitely had that psychedelic leanings, and then in the middle leaned into that kind of artsy type of rock, that progressive rock. Especially Ray was able to showcase his flute skills.
Yeah,
man.
a lot, man. That's what I said during the song. You write it, you can put yourself in there, man.
But I think that this just fits perfectly. Like, you hear this song, it immediately transports you to this 1968 period. It is dated in that way, but in a good way. You want art from the time, to kind of take you back and almost try to put you in context of what's going on.
I agree, man. And the way they sang Timothy Leary sticks in
Dude,
Timothy Leary. So kind of what we talked about in the beginning, what the song, like the subject.
Yeah, no, man, very catchy in that way, man. You just there's not a lot of different type of lyrics in here, man.
No, I think it's more about what you talked about. You really painted the picture well. Just the instrumentation kind of takes you on that, for lack of a better word, trip. I mean, that's what obviously
that's right,
what
man.
they were trying to do there.
No, man. So I enjoyed that one, and nice little longer showcase for the group. And we're gonna just stay posted up here for our number 8 tune, and In the Search of a Lost Chord with Ride My Seesaw. What a title there.
Written by the band's bassist John Lodge. Single went to 42 in the UK, 61 in the US. And most of the Moody Blues concerts, it was the encore presentation at the end of the show. So that tells you how well they held it, and the fans.
Ride My Seesaw coming in at number 8 on this one. We kind of had, again, another face of the group here, because this definitely kind of leaned into that more catchy pop type of sound.
Yeah, and having them written by all different members, I think, is one of the probably sources of their magic, not knowing a lot about them, because you do get a lot of different sounding things. So just, again, a catchy little thing, and definitely different than the last song, even though they're on the same album.
No, definitely, and kind of had a, lyrically just... again, a little bit out there, not out there, but maybe just since we were coming off of the last track, Legend of a Mind, which talked about the trips, but Ride My Seesaw, take this place on this trip just for me. I still was kind of in, maybe it's because we just came off of that tune, still kind of in that drug type of mindset and whatnot, like, okay, we're taking a trip here, man. I like the section in the middle. That was pretty tight. It felt like there were strings that popped up just a little bit, but I could be wrong. And again, the drumming here by Graham Edge, I believe that's how you pronounce his first name. Forgive me if I'm butchering it. I thought that beat was very solid throughout, helped drive the song, and was the perfect backing to the catchiness of the tune, man. So really enjoyed this one. Definitely could see this being a high charting single, and I just didn't know Moody Blues had that, like, definitely have that British invasion type of sound, man. So that's been a surprise here.
Yeah, and now we're going to move on to a song that's going to sound a lot different, Trey, because this is one of the 2 songs that I know. Your Wildest Dreams from the Other Side of Life in 1986.
Putting about 20 years ahead.
20 years ahead, so we got a little different crew here, written by the band's lead singer at the time, principal songwriter and lead guitarist Justin Hayward. Top 10 hit in the U.S., peaking at number 9, which had not happened to a Moody Blues song since Nights in White Satin way back in 1972. So yes, I do know this tune because I was 15 years old at the time.
Your Wildest Dreams coming in at number 7 on this list. Definitely the most kind of pop-centric, sappy type of...
it's 85, baby. You got to get those synths in there and just that sound. Man.
Yeah, I didn't expect those synths at the start either, but then they kind of like faded out, and we got some strings up in there just a little bit, and then just kind of regular keys, it seemed, up in there as well. What are your thoughts on this one? I'm feeling you didn't like it when it was originally released.
Trey, you know me well. I did not like it as 15-year-old me. I appreciate it more now. I mean, it is some familiarity to me, so I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a little sappy for me, but they still managed to pull it off in their own kind of charming way.
I like that Rich put it in here since it was such a late entry for them all the way into '86. I think it shows a a growth of the band that you have to have, to keep going.
And I mean the kind of harmonizing, like it kind of gave it that heavenly type of feel, very lush towards the middle and end of the song, man. So even if it's not like my favorite type of sound that I'm gonna be hearing from these guys, it is cool to see, and that's what I like about Rich's list. He kind of it shows us a little taste of everything. And now we're going to go to number 6. We got Tuesday Afternoon, doing the single version found on the Greatest Hits. Original version was on the record Days of Future Past, and that one's over 8 minutes long.
This one's only about half that length.
And it's that record is part of a concept album which kind of chronicles a typical day on the album. This was part 1 of the Afternoon track, titled Forever Afternoon, in parentheses Tuesday. Justin Hayward said that he wrote the song on a Tuesday afternoon in Western England.
Well, there you go. And when it was released as a single a year later, its name changed back to Tuesday Afternoon, because for a little bit it was known as Forever Afternoon Tuesday, or simply Forever Afternoon. So Tuesday Afternoon does kind of sound a little simpler, and that's kind of what it's been known as ever since.
It rolls off the tongue a little
better, yeah.
All right, Tuesday Afternoon coming in at number 6, capping off the first half of our list here, and it was my favorite song up to this point. I think.
Agree. Sounded a little kinkish.
Yeah.
The Kinks had a little bit of this sound back then, but I really did enjoy it. A little dreamy atmosphere.
Yeah, and that's maybe what stood out to me. I think Justin is a very strong singer, man. He pulled this off well. Again, kind of like the psychedelic type of lyricism up in here as well, especially in the verse, "I'm looking at myself, reflections of my mind. It's just the kind of day to leave myself behind, so gently swaying through the fairy land of love." And again, that kind of points to what you said, that dreamy type of atmosphere. We had the flute in there by Ray putting in work towards the very end. The piano very prominent throughout as well. Just gave it that classic, kind of late 60s psychedelic pop type of atmosphere and vibe to it, man. And I thought the chorus again was very kind of catchy. Put you in that place where I can imagine Justin sitting in his backyard in England, man, on a Tuesday afternoon, jotting this one down.
And a nice connection, because he wrote and sang Your Wildest Dreams.
Dude, that's right, later, man. So. Kind of tight. And we're going to go now to number 5 on the list. Go to 7th, Sojourn from 1972, the track I'm Just a Singer in a Rock and Roll Band.
Yeah, written by bassist John Lodge. Went to 12 in the U.S., 36 in the U.K. It was also the final single released by the Moody Blues prior to their 5-year hiatus, which was agreed upon by each member of the band so they could pursue their own solo careers. The song was the last of the band's singles to feature the Chamberlain, which had recently replaced the Mellotron. The Chamberlain would later be replaced by a more modern keyboard synth, which we heard on song number 7, Your Wildest Dreams.
That's right, man. So let's get into this one. I'm Just a Singer in a Rock and Roll Band. The closing track from this record, man. I didn't mention that earlier, but as the name would suggest, a very rock and roll-esque tune.
Almost manic a little bit in just in the delivery of it with everyone.
No, I really enjoyed this one. The up-tempo nature of it had a great bass line at the start, as you would, I guess, expect if it was written by John Lodge.
Yeah, that's it, man. These guys who are writing it, man, they're going to get, you had the flute earlier on the one that he wrote.
And, I enjoyed kind of the concepts of it, of this guy, I'm assuming is, kind of the lead singer, as he, I believe, mentions in here, of the rock, he's just a singer in a rock and roll band. He mentions kind of that musician's life, traveling place to place, kind of wandering, from this or that. And then I liked at the very end, he noted, music is the traveler crossing our world, meeting so many people, bridging the seas. And then he just humbly says, I'm just a singer in a rock and roll band. He's delivering the message, man.
Exactly.
Of the good stuff going on. Also had that Chamberlain, as we mentioned in there a couple times, very prominent. So it kind of had that mixture of that almost proggy sound with the rock and roll.
With the rock and roll, yeah. I don't have much more to add to it. Yeah, nice little track.
Well, that'll take us then to one of the tracks we do know. Played this on a live stream, but it's been ages. From Every Good Boy Deserves Favor in 1971, we got The Story in Your Eyes, written by Justin Hayward, and this was also a single. So
let's get it.
The Story in Your Eyes coming in. It'd been a while since I heard this. Shout out to Don, who I believe requested it on one of our first ever live streams, man. But this
Good
is
memory, man.
This was one of my favorites that we've had, and I don't know if Rich did this intentionally, but this and then I'm Just a Singer in a Rock and Roll Band have been the two most kind of straight up like rocking type of tunes.
Agreed.
And I think that's probably why they chose them for singles, for a more kind of a wider, accessible sound and audience.
Yeah, and I think this song works real well for 1971, but I think it sounds almost like it's 67, 68, like full-in psychedelic realm. It fits perfectly in there, but really enjoyed it.
Definitely, one of my favorite set of lyrics as well, so shout out to Justin, not only on the guitar, which we had a couple killer solos in there, but also lyrically, I enjoyed it, man. Just kind of what I think most generations go through, wondering, hey, man, are we going to leave this place for our children better than what we got? But I'm frightened for your children, and the life that we are living is in vain, and the sunshine we've been waiting for will turn to rain. So kind of some heavy, deep stuff there, but we ended on a bit more of an upbeat note. When the final line is over and it's certain the curtain's gonna fall, I can hide inside your sweet, sweet love forevermore. So a little bittersweet final line.
Yeah, and a shout out to Justin in 1971 for writing "Leaving the World a Better Place" for those, because I think my generation is the first one that's in danger of not doing that. So very relevant right now.
That's a good point, man. So shout out Moody Blues on this one. This one will probably end up in my favorite tracks. But we're going to go next to The Voice from Long Distance Voyager in 1981.
Yeah, we're going to skip ahead here. Single went to 15 in the U.S., 9 in Canada, so had some success.
Our first song and our top 3 up in here. What do you think of this one, Dad?
I have definitely heard this song before. Not a lot, but the oh, can you feel it?
A lot more catchy than I expected from our starting synthesizer intro.
Yeah, and has the early 80s sound with the synth, but yet, as you said, catchy and a nice little tune.
Yeah, definitely, man. This was my favorite tune, I think, actually, up to this point.
Okay.
I spoke a little too soon. I something about those ohs and
it just really sticks in the head.
Justin's delivery here was again very strong. I mentioned it earlier. I'm very impressed with his vocals on just all throughout this list, man. So
I am as well.
I quite enjoyed it, and again, like that kind of lyrical content about that concept of that voice. You maybe aren't able to particularly put a face to the voice, but it's out there. I kind of like that concept, and then again, kind of that love, that loneliness. Each and every heart, it seems, is bounded by a world of dreams. Each and every rising sun is greeted by a lonely one. And then he goes on talking about the ocean of a life, my love. So now he's talking to his love. There are so many storms we must rise above. Can you hear the spirit calling as it's carried across the waves? You're already falling. It's calling you back to face the music and the song that is coming through. You're already falling. The one that it's calling is you. Ooh. I just thought that was really powerful,
yeah, Justin's
man.
Very good writer, man.
And great synth in there, and of course great guitar work. So really, really strong song yet again, man. Good job on this list, Rich. I'm agreeing with kind of the order you've been putting them in. We're gonna go now to Question.
Also written by Justin, who provides the lead vocals. Single, it remains their highest charting song in the UK, reaching number 2. Went to 21 in the U.S. So a lot of Justin on the top part of this list, for sure.
Yeah, because this is early. We're going back to 1970.
A Question of Balance.
So let's get going on this one. All right, Question coming in, man. And I just keep speaking too soon, man, because this again, I think is my favorite track on the list so far, man. I really enjoyed the way they... it was almost a tale of two songs.
It was a tale of two songs. I did not expect that tempo shift to just way more chilled out for the middle part of the song. Obviously it's written in 1970, so tones of the war. I'm imagining hanging over this because starts out, why do we never get an answer when we're knocking at the door with 1,000 million questions about hate and death and war? Because when we stop and look around, there's nothing that we need in a world of population that is burning in its greed, because really that's what war is about most of the time when you become involved in a foreign war, unless you were attacked, it's really about greed because you want something out of it. So
Yeah.
that was really manic and kind of, up
Well,
tempo.
rhythm section on that was just fantastic, especially by John Lodge, man. I thought the bass was great. And then we shift to, Hayward going on the 12-string acoustic guitar,
Yes.
man, which really, we've had certain, acoustic little sections here and there throughout the list, but this, was 3 minutes just square in the middle and really talking about him looking for love, finding love, losing love in a very, I think, a poetic way.
Yes.
Really gorgeous melody in that section, I thought. And he notes here, I like this line, and when you stop and think about it, you won't believe it's true that all the love you've been giving has all been meant for you. He says, I'm looking for someone to change my life. I'm looking for a miracle in
Yes.
my life. So he's kind of, I think, not expecting this to probably happen if he's thinking this is going to be a miracle.
Agreed.
And if you could see what it's done to me to lose the love I knew could safely lead me through, between the silence of the mountains and the crashing of the sea, there lies a hand I once lived in, and she's waiting there for me. So very poetic, again, showcasing Justin's fantastic lyricism, and then at the end, kind of book in the track as we did at the start, ramp it back up.
Yep.
Really great tune.
Really
man.
well done.
Well, that'll take us now to our number one track, ladies and
Which
gentlemen.
I imagine most people have figured out.
Yeah, it's going to be their most famous song up here, Night in White Satin, called The Night here. This includes the Late Lament, which is a spoken word poetic epilogue in this one as well.
Yeah, and here he is again. Written and composed by Justin Hayward at age 19. And titled the song after a girlfriend gave him a gift of satin bed sheets.
Hey, there you go.
And as you were telling me, it was first featured as a segment, The Night, on the album Days of Future Past. When first released as a single in 1967, it reached 19 in the UK, 103 in the US. It was the first significant chart entry by the band since Go Now, and its recent lineup change in which Denny Lane and Clint Warwick had resigned, and both Hayward and John Lodge had joined. You talk about bringing in
I was about to say,
the
man.
heat, man. When reissued in 1972 in the US, it went to 2, 1 in Canada, and 9 in the UK. It enjoyed a recurring chart presence in the following decades. Charted again in the UK and Ireland in 79, reaching 14 and 8 respectively. And again in 2010, reaching number 51.
There you go, man. And we had the London Festival Orchestra providing the orchestral accompaniment for the intro and the final rendition of the chorus and the final lament section, all of which are in the original album version, which is
We're going to be looking at.
yeah. And the orchestral sounds in the main body of the song were actually produced by Mike Pinder's Mellotron keyboard shop. Man, the Mellotron,
All over the place,
very
baby.
underrated and
It
versatile instrument, man, which would define the Moody Blues sound, which we've heard all throughout here. And Late Lament, it's the spoken word poem heard near the 6-minute mark of the album version, and drummer Graham Edge wrote the verses, which were recited by keyboardist Mike Pinder. So there you go,
Here we
ladies
go.
and gentlemen.
Number one.
I think I've heard this song, I think probably once. I don't think I've heard this long version with
I've
Late
never heard
Lament.
this long version. I've heard this song a few times in
Yeah.
my life. Obviously, The Night's in White Satin, I could identify at any time, but I haven't really heard the song a lot.
Yeah, so let's get to this, and then we'll do our favorite tracks. The Night, coming in, Moody Blues. Very obviously their most popular tune, I'd say. And, man, I think for good reason. It has, we were mentioning it in the reaction to it, it has so many different, techniques that they use later on and that we heard in this list all throughout.
Yeah, exactly. Techniques, a little bit of everything in this one, very grand, and then they delve it out, earlier on this list of like, maybe we're going to concentrate on just this on this song and just this, and very almost theatrical at the end with the whole,
definitely
the whole spoken word and orchestra. Yeah, just a wonderful experience.
Well, and especially in this top half of the list here, there's a lot of heartbreak coming through
There is.
here from Justin, man. Nights in White Satin, never reaching the end. So I'm interpreting this that he was with his gal in the white satin sheets, but it never reached the end. Letters I've written, never meaning to sin. Beauty I'd always missed with these eyes before, just what the truth is, I can't say anymore. I interpret this as, and I mean, there's multiple ways you could, but just that he didn't appreciate what he had, really, and now that it's gone, he's like, oh, man.
Yep.
Then we get the classic chorus, because I love you, yes, I love you, and even in the background, kind of had those ahs
I
that
agree.
we even had on Just Question, our last track. So, again, very strong lyricism, especially for writing this at 19. And then I like this too. Now that he's single, he's gazing at people, some hand in hand. Just what I'm going through, they can't understand. Some try to tell me thoughts they cannot defend. Just what you want to be, you will be in the end. So I kind of like that, because when you're single, man, people say, oh, it'll turn around soon, this or that, and it's all like, it maybe not. Flute solo coming in, and just then kind of end the proper song with a bunch of the chorus before going in to that late lament section.
Yeah, and I think it's tough. One thing that's tough is, you write this at 19, man.
Dude, setting the bar high.
You're always chasing it after that, man. But, he wrote Your Wildest Dreams in 85 or 86, whenever that was, song number 7. So he kept up a prolific songwriting, and he dominates the top half of this.
Definitely, man. And I like Late Lament too. I mean, I'm not, we're not familiar with this whole record, but The Days of Future Past, with the concept, he kind of brings in, Graham Edge wrote it, he brought in the impassioned lovers, the lonely man, the new mother, the senior citizens, a little bit of everything through life. So I'll have to give that record a spin at some point, man, for sure. And I guess now that we've wrapped up the list, that'll take us to our favorite tracks. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I got them over here. Honorable mention to the 10-track Go Now. Really like that. Really like the mix of
that was tight.
The psychedelic with the 50s. Then I've got favorites are Tuesday Afternoon, and then it's not going to be any drama. Question and Nights in White Satin, aka The Night.
The Night, yeah, dude, good choice there. I got to go Question. And just hearing it fully, and even adding Late Lament, I didn't think I was going to put The Night on here, but I got to.
I didn't think I was either, but got to.
Got to put it on. And then I'm actually going to go with The Story in Your Eyes, which was number 4 on here. Honorable mention to Tuesday Afternoon. I really dug that one, and honorable mention to The Voice. So, yeah, man, really cool list. Didn't know anything really about the Moody Blues, so Rich always, it's a good educational experience.
It is. He did a wonderful job. And, we used to get recommended the Moody Blues early on in this channel, and just never got a chance to get to them. So, also honorable mention The Story in My Eyes from me as well.
Oh, that's right.
I meant to throw that in there, and I didn't, because I erased it off my board because it was on my other faves. I had 4 faves, and then I forgot. So, anyway, just had to get that in there.
No, definitely. And we, of course, always like to hear your favorite tracks. If you got a top 10 of Moody Blues, put it in the comments below. Again, shout out to you, Rich. Really appreciate it. And until next time, y'all, thanks for watching. Happy listening, and we will see you.